Good morning, everyone. I thought I would talk about something that all of us go through. It's just a matter of when. Those moments when we feel fear, anxiety, or discouragement. With discouragement, you might put hopelessness. Do you recognize some of those feelings? Well, what do you do when they hit? You see, when those feelings hit, they aren't reality. They're simply how you feel back here in your brainstem, in the amygdala. And if you don't interrupt them, they automatically take you down a path that's not what you would like to have more of. Because over time, allowing those emotions of fear, anxiety, discouragement, or hopelessness to take root will cause your capacity to diminish. It'll cause you to be more and more in startle, fight, or flight. And it really causes you to lose your capacity to enjoy the life you're in. Now, I don't hang out much with either one of those except maybe hopelessness. And what I have discovered is that when it hits, it's usually because I have a lot going on. My plate is maybe a little more full than would be healthy or useful. It's usually after about 5 o'clock in the evening. And I have learned that when it hits, I make no decisions. I rarely talk about how I'm feeling. I just practice all of my interrupt tools. So I want to share those with you because if you don't practice this, by default, you'll go down the automatic reaction of what happens when you go into fear, anxiety, discouragement, or hopelessness. There is an automatic response. It's called fight or flight. And it's what stresses your adrenals. And it's what will trump any great eating patterns, any supplements, and any exercise. You know, I work with people that are trying to get all their supplements just right and all of their food just right and exercise just right, but their nervous system and their emotions are completely a mess. And this will always win, no matter how perfect your performance is over here. So when I share these things, please don't discount them because they can make all the difference in surviving barely and being able to flourish. So, how do you interrupt? Well, the first thing I do when hopelessness or discouragement hits me, those are the ones that I tend to be more vulnerable with. And when they hit, well, I bring out my flower essences. If it's discouragement and hopelessness, I just go to gorse. Remember, it's like a horse with the G. And you can get it in any health food store. You can get it from us. If you deal with anxiety, but you're not really sure what of, it's aspen. This one I've also seen really help people with headaches, especially migraines. And then fear. Fear of the dentist, fear of heights, fear of speaking, fear of whatever. Where it's a known fear, mimulus. Now, once again,
Where do they get this?
as I said earlier, you can get these in any health food store, or you can get them from us, or you can purchase them online. These are your Bach flower remedies. We carry a different brand, but they're both the same. So simply have the ones that you know are important for you on hand. Because if you hit a roadblock emotionally, knowing it's in the store doesn't help. Knowing it's online doesn't help. What helps is having it on hand. So gorse is one I keep on hand. Now, if you don't have a clue which flower essence, even if you've done the questionnaire on our website, CherylTownsley.com, resources, questionnaires, emotional questionnaire, even if you just aren't sure after all of that, Fields of Flowers is awesome because this gives you all of them. Now, one of the things you can do when you order it from us, let's say that you did the questionnaire online, which is free, and you identified 3 or 4 that were your top ones. Then when you call in your order, you can ask for me to imprint or highlight those 3, 4, up to 5 flower essences in the fields and make it that much more customized for you. Now, how often can you take these? When I'm a mess, every 5 minutes. Most of the time, I don't even take this. But when it hits that sense of hopelessness, I'll do it every 5 minutes. And usually within 15, 20, 25 minutes, I'm back to normal. But the next thing that's really, 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 really helpful, I'm going to give you 3 tips. Flower essences is number 1. The second is practice your breathing. Because when we're under this emotional threat we tend to hold our breath or breathe very shallow. So the more you can breathe down from the belly or even from the sides of your diaphragm, deep, without your shoulders going up and down. When you're in shallow breathing, I'm exaggerating, but your shoulders are going up and down. When you're breathing deep, my shoulders aren't going up and down. It's all happening in the deeper diaphragm. And the only way you have access to that is when you have switched out of fight or flight. Knowing how to get to that place very easily is incredibly useful. Third tip, and these are things that I practice all the time. Forrest.
So just like their flower essences, practice your breathing ahead of time.
Practicing your breathing all the time is very important, and Forrest has been releasing breathing videos, of which we're doing several more. If you just watch the video and go, oh, that's great, but you don't practice this, it's not available when you need it the most. And if you're not practicing it, you're not increasing your capacity to do this easily. You just can't watch a video and go, yeah, that's important, and then walk away from it. It's done nothing for you. In fact, it's almost a disservice because you know it, but you don't have access to it. Being able to practice, becoming comfortable with it, means you have access when you most need it, and it can most help you. Third little tip, interrupt those thoughts that will take you down a path that don't serve you. So, and I'm just sharing from me, since fear, anxiety, anger, resentment, those aren't the ones that usually hit me. Those are not the ones that usually hit me. What does hit me is discouragement, hopelessness. And I can go from being this great woman of faith and great vision to nothing's going to work out. I mean, it just goes from here to here that fast. And so I take course, practice my breathing, and then I go back and remember all the things that God has done in our life, all the times He's provided, all the things He has promised, all the blessings in my life, all the people that care about me, all the opportunities I have, the fact that I have a home, that I have a car, that I have groceries. I go back to the basics, and I just remind myself that I'm in a really good place. I'm very blessed. I journal every morning. I remind myself, I get that into me so that when I desire to draw upon it, it's already in me. If all I did was entertain those thoughts of fear that nothing's ever going to work out, or being jealous of what other people have that I don't have, or resentment that it's not fair, life should be blah, 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 all those shoulds. If I did that, then that's where I would easily go when I'm under pressure. But because I spend so much of my time in gratitude, in appreciation, in acknowledging what is a blessing, receiving affirming words, because those are regular throughout the day practices, it's easy to go back and interrupt what doesn't serve me and go back to what I know is truth. So by the time, usually within about 20 minutes, this just happened last night where a moment of discouragement hit me, and it's like, no, I am not going to bed ruminating on that issue. So I went and did my course. I did some breathing. I did some journaling. I was very thankful for all I have. And once I had relaxed and interrupted that thought process, I went to bed peaceful and calm and slept really well. So I encourage you that when the negative emotions hit, they're just as fickle as a little tiny rainstorm that looks major and then ends up being nothing. It can be that simple for you if you learn how to interrupt, because you're practicing the easy basics on a regular basis. Look forward to hearing your feedback. Encourage you to interrupt what doesn't serve you and learn how to practice what's useful and, most of all, very easy.